and I seen this interesting picture on Twitter, and I just want to see what you guys thought about it. We have a rank them where we rank them in order. We have Trae Young, Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, and Zach Lavine. I think you should go first, Rob.
I'm a type of guy that I think, once you have the foundation of scoring the basketball, everything else comes second. When we talk about players like Stephen Curry, people thought that he wouldn't really acclimate himself to the NBA because he couldn't really do anything but score the basketball, and people thought that he was small and frail. Some people think that James Harden isn't really good because all he could do was score the basketball. I think Trae Young would be in that category as well. Trae Young is a walking 30 buckets. Because of that, I have to put him as number one. Now, number two, just because I've seen him do it already, I'm going to have to put Jamal Murray. And number three is going to be Zach Lavine. And, of course, the last one is the last.
I think that, you can call me biased if you want. I got to go with Zach Lavine, number one. I think that the most important thing, yes, scoring is very important, but you also got to look at the progression of these guys. And I have never seen Zach Lavine act like this, ever. He is averaging just about 29, 5, and 5. Any shooting guard, any guard, period, those would be MVP numbers. Now, the Bulls, he can't help his situation. He's doing all that he can. It's a Bradley Beal situation right now.
Not but they still a playoff team.
It's the East. But individually, I got to go with Zach Lavine. But second, I got to go with Trae Young. I think Trae Young, his vision is just like generational, Rob did say that he's a walking 30 buckets. People called him Stephen Curry in college. When he came out of college, people doubted him. He was a small guy. I give him extra props just because of his small frame, the way he can get his own shot, and the passes that he makes guys look a lot better than they really are. You look at John Collins. Absolutely. John Collins is looking for a max deal. I'm going to tell you right now, this is like Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan of 2012. Chris Paul got a lot of people, a lot of money. I'm going to let you know that right now. And for third, it's a toss-up really between Devin Booker and Jamal Murray because both of them are buckets, but I got to go with Jamal Murray, I feel like Jamal Murray, just his game, the way that him and Joker they're like, the way they're in sync when they play with each other, and also Jamal Murray could go off for 50 at any given moment. Not saying that Dev Book can't. I'm not saying that at all. But it really took for Dev Book to get Chris Paul for them to really start to make a difference. It was just Jamal Murray and Joker for a while, and last year they took that step into being like a serious threat for the championship. So that would have to be my order.
Now I want to clarify a little bit something. I think Devin Booker has the potential to be the best player on this list. The thing that I don't really like about Devin Booker is that we haven't necessarily seen him do it. What really hurt Devin Booker was the first 4 or 5 years is just straight losing, and more losing. Of course, he was scoring 30 points. He had a 70-point game, a bunch of 50-point games, but he was losing basketball games. And of course, his teams weren't the best. But that right there, in my opinion, just really stained the way that I look at him. And of course, a lot of other people look at him, as you see by the lack of all-star selections. But now, I just think that Trae Young, the reason why I have Trae Young number one is that he's the type of guy that I think in 3 or 4 years, you drop him on any team, he's going to be the number one option offensively. You drop him, I think you drop Trae Young right now on the Celtics, take away Kemba, he's still 30 points. I just think he's that good. You put him anywhere, I think he's going to flourish. In terms of Zach Lavine now, I think Zach Lavine, he's flourishing in his position. He's not necessarily going to be the best in terms of anywhere you put him, he's going to be that guy. He'd be a very good role player. He'd be a very good number two. He just wouldn't be a number one, and similar to Jamal Murray.
Now, I'm gonna get my rankings in. I'm gonna have to agree with Tyler and put Zach Lavine at number one. And I'm gonna put that off. Really, Tyler hit the hammer on the nail. Yeah, he did one of those. The way this man progressed, like from his times in Minnesota until now, we're really seeing a great player become better and better each day. He used to be considered, he's just a dunker. All he does is dunks and highlight plays here and here. My man is carrying a team right now. They're in the playoffs. Some people might say, they're in the Eastern Conference. They're still fighting in the playoffs. He's on a competitive team, and he's the number one guy there. Where if he's not on that team, I would say the Bulls are a lot lower than they would be now. Now, secondly, I'm going to have to put Jamal Murray in there. And that's because of how much he means to the Nuggets. Yes, he's not the main piece, but he's still a very good supporting cast to Jokic. He is a baller. All right, I'm gonna put Jamal Murray up there, especially for what we saw last year in the bubble. I don't care if it was just bubble Jamal Murray or if it was a fluke. I'm putting Jamal Murray at 2 on this list just because of what I see he can do on a good team, and it's taken pretty far. And then third, I'm gonna have to put Trae Young on there because when I see Trae Young, Tyler said it too. Well, he didn't say he felt like that, but I see Trae Young being Steph Curry number 2. Like the man can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass. All he got to do is put on some more weight, and I feel like he can really be the second coming of Stephen Curry. Maybe not winning unanimous MVPs here and there, but I feel like he can be Stephen Curry number 2. And then Dev Book, I mean, he's been in the league for what, 4 or 5 years now, and he needed Chris Paul to get out of the rut he was in. And yes, I feel like he's a baller. He can ball out, but unfortunately, he's gonna have to be at the last on this list for me.
I respect the list. It's just that the disrespect of Trae Young has gotten to a point where it's too much. I think last year he was a little bit too overhyped because if you guys recall, he was starting in the All-Star game. People thought that he was actually the second coming of Stephen Curry right now, but it wasn't that. I think Trae Young needs to grow a bit, but as of right now, I still think, and I would still take him over everybody on that list just because of the sheer scoring. As I said, scoring comes first, but everything else could come later.
I mean, last year he averaged 30 and 10. Like that I think that those are some serious. Mind you, worst team in the league. I give you that. Granted, is that, but it was All-Star is about individuality, and I also think that the thing that separates him from everybody else on the list, though, is his passing. Because nobody on his list is a defender. Nobody on his list. And Trae Young has an excuse. And really, Trae Young is probably like, what, 5'11"? At best, 180, 175. So, and he's out there, schooling guys. But I respect y'all list.